Hey, buddies.
Hey, friends.
Welcome back to the Cosmic Compass. We are your co-hosts. I said it right this time. All right, so we're going to start with pulling a card. As per usual. This one looks good. Nope, we've already had that one. Should I read it?
No.
Okay. Let me shuffle these again. We don't want one that we've already had. But then again, it might fucking pertain. Who knows? It was the love card. The one with the two birds. All right, let's try this again.
I don't know. Maybe we fucked up.
I'll read both of them just in case. All right. Engagement. What is this? Is this a seal or a whale or maybe a dolphin having lunch with an octopus? Or some kind of a fish?
Yeah, it's a fish.
It says, today I make the conscious choice to engage with the world in an active way. I'll take a new route and talk to strangers. I will smell flowers and pet dogs and maybe walk around barefoot for a while if I'm not inside a 7-Eleven. At the very least, I'll have a day that's slightly more interesting than average. And the most I'll have a startling epiphany to make a friend who will change my life forever. No pressure. Interesting. Let's go ahead and read the love one just in case. So, in case you guys don't remember, it has the two singing birds. Love is a many splendored thing. Today, I will notice and appreciate at least 3 of those splendors, like the fact that puppies make me feel like a parent. Why do they keep talking about dogs, man?
No, but it did apply.
It did. Or the surge of self-congratulations I feel when I sink a 3-point trash basket shot on the first try, or how about the chills I get while singing along to whatever song you sing along to. Those actually both kind of apply a little bit. Weird. Never question the cards. Why did we do that? Oh, man. All right, so you had a session with Lori recently.
Today.
Oh, today?
Yeah.
Let's hear about it.
Yeah, so which was great because we booked this appointment, we book it at the end of every session. So I didn't know at the time that we were going to be talking about chakras this week. So it actually is pretty dope that it's kind of spot on today.
Yeah.
So it was not what I thought it was going to be, which I usually keep a pretty open mind, but I don't know. I just figured it'd be like more like the first session I ever had with her, where like I went in and I laid down and we did like a meditation, and she was just going to be like hand hovering and like getting my chakras spinning together and then be like, okay, I fixed you for today. So don't just fuck it up.
Just today.
And so I don't know if this is how she normally does it, or if she did it this way because I had mentioned to her that I'd like to start learning more about it and maybe starting my own practice at some point. And so she started the session off by giving me like a lesson, if you will. So she said we were going to, and I don't know why I thought we would just go over all of the chakras, but we got we focused on one. We started at the beginning, which is the root chakra. And she gave me just like some history on it. She gave me what the visual picture of it like looks like, even though it's not really like a real thing, but like what we have created as the visual of what your chakras look like. She had some really cool like affirmations that go with the root chakra. And so we talked about it like a lot. Really, I just kind of got like a lesson on it for part of it, but it was like, really good stuff. And then we went into a meditation, and it was awesome as always. But it's funny because she goes, well, I don't really think this is a place that you struggle with right now, or is really something that is unbalanced or over or underreactive. She's like, I feel like it's functioning pretty well for you based on, conversations that we've had. But she's like, this is where you start, because the root chakra is the foundation to kind of all your other chakras and the
Mm-hmm.
foundation to just a lot of things in life. So, um, it was a good session and I felt really great. And she gave me some homework to do over the next like 2 weeks.
Nice.
Um, and so when we talked about like my experience during the meditation, um, I did kind of get some like little images. They're starting to get like a little clearer.
Hell yeah.
So that was kind of exciting. But like the life tree
Mm-hmm.
kept kind of popping up into my brain. Um,
Interesting.
yeah. And the and then towards the end, I just kept seeing like a hand reaching out or like different things just like connecting. And I thought that was really interesting because the whole kind of visualization for the meditation was like feeling like a root coming from like a tree root, like almost envision yourself turning into a tree, and not
Mm-hmm.
in the sense of like, I'm a tree now, but like how grounded and rooted a tree is.
Yeah.
And so it was like, visualize roots coming from your feet and really, planting you into the ground and coming out of that chakra, which is at the base of your spine, and your spine being rooted into the ground. And um, so it was still really a great session.
Mm-hmm.
It just wasn't as like my inner child one where I had like a visceral moment and it was like emotionally overwhelming. But she's like, just wait till I get to your next one because I have a feeling you're gonna have trouble there.
Oh shit. Oh no.
So I'm super excited about that. That's in 2 weeks. So
Yeah.
but it's always great seeing Lori. She
Yeah.
just has this presence about her that just I just love her.
Yeah. Like
And so
she's
we were
got.
talking today about things that we're, grateful for. And that's
Mm-hmm.
part of some of my homework too. And expressing gratitude while outside. And uh I just told her like I'm just super grateful to have you in my life. Because I feel like she's helped me progress like much more quickly, but also kind of like working out, right? you
Mm-hmm.
you figure out how the form and fundamentals work, and then you go into like speed or heavier weights or whatever, but you need that like person to show you how it's done and just make you more aware of things. And then of course she was like, well, we have to thank Jen because she's the one who connected us, so of course we express gratitude for having you in our lives and making those connections. So it was great. I had to do it in my car because I was at work,
Mm-hmm.
so that was weird
Yeah, I
because I
bet.
was wanted to do it outside because it said it was 70 degrees, but when I went out there, it was way too windy and I did not have a like a sweatshirt on. I was in civilian clothes because we
Mm.
just got done doing yoga at lunch, and which is a new thing I'll have to catch up on.
Yeah.
um, so it was just too cold. I was like, that's going to be way too distracting. And people are going to think that I'm a lunatic because I'm sitting out in the grass at an Army Reserve Center. Like,
But you know what? Who cares?
but it was really more the weather. It
Yeah.
was just too windy and just a little bit too chilly to be out there without a sweatshirt. So
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I'll do it in the locker room. But then someone came in and was blasting music while they were taking a shower. So I was like, that's not going to work. So I was like, it's fine. I'll just sit in my car. So I walk all the way out there. But the sun had been beating on my enclosed car. So when I got in there, it was hot. And I didn't bring my keys with me. So then I had to run back in, grab my keys. And I just wound up sitting and letting the car run for an hour, which was so bad for the environment. But
Nah.
I tried
Nah.
rolling the windows down and it wasn't enough. So but she did mention that sometimes it's good to have like distractions because if you can reach that kind of deep altered consciousness, even with like, because I had a bun in and it was on the back of my seat and it kept like slipping backwards
Mm-hmm.
and being annoying. And she's like, but the fact that you were able to stay so connected and not let it phase you, or if it did, you came right back,
Yeah.
um, is kind of a good tool to have, because we can't always be in like the most optimal places when we may need to meditate or
Mm-hmm.
to do something or to fit it into our lives. So
No, I mean, and I think that's like a really good point because like even taking like meditation out of it, if like you end up in a situation where like you don't want to get overwhelmed and like, flying through, like you're trying to keep your emotions in check, that's definitely a good tool to have. And I think I'm about to lose my internet, so we might have to time out for a second. And we're back. Sorry about that, you guys. Internet issues. Most of you guys know I've been dealing with this since summer. But anyways, what were we saying?
About needing to like tune out or to not become overwhelmed in certain situations.
Yeah. Am I losing it again?
No,
No.
you're
Okay.
fine.
Well, you're frozen.
No, I'm not frozen. I'm just not moving.
Oh, you were frozen on my screen for a second
Oh.
because you were like
Always in the weirdest phase.
I actually don't know if that's what it was, but I just know that you were frozen for a second. Anyways, but yeah, no, it is a really good tool to have in the toolbox of being able to, keep your emotions in check. Just like I was telling you before we started recording, like I'm really proud of how I handled myself at Banfield because
Yeah.
I wanted to snap off at like everybody, but I knew who the anger was really at, and like I know as mad as I was, those people that I was talking to did not deserve it. So I was like, it's not their fault. It's not their fault. And like, let me just explain to this person in a very calm manner. And I'm just really proud of myself. So that's a great tool to have.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even like I work in an office and so do you with other people. And so
Mm.
sometimes they start having conversations that I have no desire to listen to. And so
Or
I've just
meetings in
figured
your
out,
office that have
yeah.
nothing to do with you.
And so I've just figured out how to turn my ears off to the point where they'll be like, hey, hey. And I'm like, what? And they're like, we were just literally trying to get your attention for like 5 minutes. And I was like, I was not listening to you. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, so it was great. And like I said, it was really cool because it directly correlates with our episode today, which if you guys haven't figured out by now is about chakras.
Yeah. Like we have, if you guys have these cool little bracelets,
Oh,
I
and the trees.
and
We
the
have trees.
trees. Yeah. And the trees. I love my tree. It's
I
like
love my tree too.
yeah, it's because like before you decided to leave me, I had already thought about what I'm gonna do with the stuff in my office, like the come on words, Jen, my little Himalayan salt Zen garden and the aroma diffuser with
Hmm.
the. I was like, I'm just gonna give those to Liz. Like I'm gonna give those to her, but I'm keeping my tree. Like that's my tree. So like I was gonna give those to you, but now it's like, oh, I guess I'm not now.
There's mail. Just saying.
Yeah. Yeah, I
No,
like mail
you'll
too.
awaken someone else and they can have your handy
Yeah.
tools. But
I
I
mean, who
do kind
knows?
of feel
Like
like I
when,
need a Zen garden.
yeah. Well, maybe I'll send that to you. I don't know how I would package that. I need like a little spoon to like shovel it into a little jar. And
Logistics for another day.
yeah, yeah. But anyways, yes, we are talking about chakras. So, um, I guess we can just dive into it.
Yeah.
I feel like you know more about the chakras than I do. Like I only know the basic chakras. But we both have. Did you get that book or you just borrowed mine? I don't
You
remember.
bought me a copy, I think.
Okay. But and me being a terrible reader that I am, I never finished it, but apparently there are how many chakras do we have?
88 million.
88 million.
Something like that. I
Yeah.
didn't re-reference the book, but it's somewhere in a weird astronomical uh number, but essentially we're energy. And so there are like all these, little energy points in different parts of our bodies. And you have hand chakras, you have feet chakras. Um, there are, I think, 5 other chakras that exist outside of the body that, deal with like aura and some other different things. And like wicked, almost like unthinkable levels of divine connection that exist well above the ground chakra. Um, but for most of anything that you're going to deal with or encounter or really want to focus on, or anyone really has uh, access to help you with, are the 7 core uh, chakras.
Yeah.
So those are, and it's mainly because they are, I'm sure a lot of you have probably seen it throughout your lives, a poster or something of a person usually sitting in lotus pose, like in a meditative pose, and you'll just see like the different colored dots running down the center of the body. Those are representations of the chakras.
Mm-hmm.
And so we deal with and mostly focus on those 7 chakras because one, they're inside of the body. And so they're easier for us to, like Reiki masters and different energy healers, for them to affect and help you with. And then also because they deal with organ function, they deal with emotions in the body, and also just like our mental processes can be affected by how well our chakras are operating.
Mhm.
So, which we'll get into that in a little bit. So,
Yeah. Yeah. It's all interesting stuff because like I mean yeah, we'll get into it. So I guess we'll start with the root chakra.
yeah. So, we can, my notes kind of like bounce around here a little bit. So
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to just like focus on like one chakra and talk about that and then kind of move up, or just kind of just wing it.
Um what like I think it would be good to I think for this episode it would be good to like explain all the chakras and then, whatever happens after happens.
Yeah.
That way, cuz I know we love to go on tangents and like talk about other things, but just so everyone has it up front before we get onto our tangents what each chakra is and what it represents and correlates
Yeah.
with.
So the root chakra, kind of like we talked about a little bit when talking about my session with Lori today, is the foundation. So her and I kind of talked about that in our session, where most things that we do as people, we start from the top of, our head and work our way down to our feet.
Mhm.
So with chakras, we work from the bottom up. So
Mhm.
it's kind of like building a house. And so when you get a good foundation, it makes it easier for everything else to function. So the root chakra is located at the base of the spine. It is correlated with a red color. So, like you had shown your bracelet. So each of those beads correlates to and are in order from the root chakra going up. So you'll see the red bead there for those of you that are watching. So that's the red color. And so that was part of my homework as well, was to wear as much red as I possibly could over the next 2 weeks. So even if that was like a red hat when I went outside, or red underwear when I went to the movies, or whatever,
Oh yeah.
um, to just eat red food, apples, whatever, and just really try to correlate all the aspects of the chakra
Mhm.
to kind of focus your intentions there to work on that and to keep it balanced. So it deals with uh, your most primal needs. So, food, water, shelter. So, a lot of the, so again, it kind of makes sense that it's the root, the foundation, and it correlates with a lot of our core needs for survival. So, it affects us when it's under or over activated or blocked altogether. So you'll start getting like fearful, or if you worry about how am I gonna, pay my mortgage, or how am I gonna buy groceries, or a lot of those different aspects of just basic needs.
Mhm.
A lot of it can stem from a blockage or an imbalance in the root chakra.
Yeah. And it can also show up in like physical
Mhm.
um what's the word I'm looking for?
Symptoms.
Symptoms, yeah, like physical symptoms also when it comes to like a blocked root chakra, like um not trying to get TMI or anything like that, but arthritis, constipation, or bladder and colon problems are some physical
Problems
symptoms.
with the legs and the feet.
Yeah.
So again, think anything kind of in the lower part of your body. And so when we talk about where the problems or disease that happens, it's in the area of where the chakra is located.
Mhm.
So the chakra also deals a lot with blood and bones. And so, because again, those, without them, you can't survive. So any of those kind of innate primitive needs for us are correlated with the root chakra.
Mhm.
And so anxiety comes from there because that's a fear based, thought process. So again, we talked about thoughts. So a lot of that just comes from the feeling of being unstable or ungrounded,
Mhm.
that we just kind of feel like we are kind of just floating around or don't really know what's going on. And it's just, we're disconnected. So, some of the ways that we can fix that are spending time in nature. Super easy one, like to the point of uh, taking your shoes off. And remember in my session, she stated like imagining or visualizing roots coming out of your feet and out of your tailbone to like root you into the ground and you become like a tree, rooted like a tree. So the best way to connect and feel that energy is to take your shoes off and walk around. And it doesn't have to be for long periods of time. We're not talking about hours on end or anything like that. It can literally be like 5 minutes
Yeah.
and just standing outside with your feet in the grass. And it really does make a big difference. I know it sounds really simple, but the world just moves at such a fast pace anymore that we forget some of those basic things that can be very helpful and just give us that sense of control over that moment,
Yeah.
that you can sit there and just be in that space, and then you can correlate some affirmations with that. So things like, I am grounded, I am safe, I have everything I need within me. Things like that are just some examples of those rooting affirmations that I can stand on my own 2 feet, I'm stable, uh, and then you just work that.
I love it. I really love like walking around barefoot outside. And I was just thinking like, what am I gonna do? Like, cause when it's cold out, like I don't want to walk around barefoot in the snow. So what?
You just shovel out a little clean spot. And
And
just
just stand there with my bare feet, and then walk inside, and be like, "Yep, I got frostbite."
Well, you just might have to do some other things, right? So, yes, when it gets colder, sticking your feet in the snow is probably not safe or advised. But there are yoga poses that you could do. Um, I don't have any specifics off the top of my head, but most of them are like seated positions.
Hmm.
I think we actually did one where you sit
We,
your back against the wall and
yeah,
then your legs are straight out in front of you and you
hmm,
just hang out like that. And
yeah,
again, it's about focusing your intentions on being grounded. And, if you can't be outside, try to be next to a window. Listen to nature sounds, in your headphones or on your speaker, or however you like to do it. But um, yeah, those are some like alternative things. And again, you've got your affirmations that you can say, and you could eat red foods, you can wear red clothes.
which
Like there are,
that's a new one for me. I didn't know about the eating red and wearing red. Like, I wear red all the time. What the heck? Like, I was not grounded for a very very long time, and red is my favorite color. Like,
well, because it's not just about wearing red,
I
it's about the
know.
intentions behind
Yeah.
wearing the red. But also you can there are affirmations like, I fuel my body with healthy foods,
Hmm.
I make healthy choices. So anything that you can say that goes back to those, food, water, shelter, basic needs, um, can help you with that. And they're easy to do pretty much anywhere.
Yeah, I love it. All right,
Yeah.
so what's next?
So then moving up the body, the next one is the sacral chakra, which is one that, the root chakra is always like, I feel like the main focus of a lot of things. But the sacral chakra is a little south of your belly button, probably like a couple fingers down from there. And it's associated with the body part of the gut and the digestive system. So, funny little sidebar on that. I was when I had kind of my coming to Jesus moment, or my huge kind of awe-inspiring moment, that kind of really started my spiritual journey. Um, I had a lot of release emotionally. Physically, I felt like weights had been lifted off of me, but also like, and again, not to be too TMI, but I had a lot of like flatulence and gas. And it was really like my chakra was being like released, and it was like a cobweb kind of cogwheel, like starting
Yeah.
to spin, and all the dust was coming out. And so they say that the gut has a lot to do with a lot of things. We always say we have a gut feeling about it, or
Hmm.
that's your intuition talking to you, right? um Sometimes when you are unsure about something or don't feel comfortable someplace, you'll get like pain in your gut. So it's not a far-fetched idea to say that when you have blockages, you'll be constipated or have IBS can be a symptom, different, types of just gut health, and anything to do with the intestines and that whole like stomach digestive region is governed or ruled by the sacral chakra. So it deals with your emotions. So again, like gut feelings,
Mhm.
we feel a lot of things in that area. And it's kind of funny when you think about it because the root is the foundation. And so now kind of one of your next major players in a lot of different things that affect us in our lives on the physical plane, but also on a spiritual level, a mental and emotional level, happens to be right on top of it.
Yeah.
And we feel a lot of things in there. So it affects emotions, creativity, sexual energy,
Hmm.
sense of abundance, and pleasure.
Yeah.
So when that is blocked, again, we don't feel well. It affects how we, again, the digestion is really the biggest side effect there, or disease of the gut.
Hmm.
Um, colon cancers, stomach cancers, things like that. It's all because we're not balanced in that area, or it is a contributing factor.
Yeah. I
Um,
also know that self worth is like a big one with the sacral chakra because like when like my time with Hadley, like those were like the two main chakras that we focus on was my root and sacral because self worth was fucking low, like so.
yeah, yeah. So when it's blocked, you can feel um, like sexual dysfunction or low libido. Um, you could be experiencing depression or addictive behaviors. Like all of that comes from that area. And so I'm really excited about getting my session with this because I think this is one that, like, I'm obviously not as knowledgeable on it because we start at the bottom
Hmm.
and I haven't worked my way up to it, pun intended. And but it is, like I said, another big player in I think at least the physical side of it, because we do get a lot of physical cues from that area of our body.
Yeah, definitely. All right, and then now next we have
The solar
plexus.
plexus. Oh, we
So,
didn't talk about the color for the sacral.
oh, sorry.
That's
The
all right.
sacral is yellow. No, orange. Sorry. The sacral is orange. I
Yes.
know I got because I know like this will explain the gems later, but like this you can't. I know my camera makes it look orange, but it's actually like yellow with like orange splats.
Blobs.
So it's a little confusing, but we'll explain the gemstones that correlate with each of the sacrals because you'll see like the solar plexus is supposed to be yellow, but it's not on my bracelet because the gem that it correlates with. So yes, the solar or the sacral chakra. I'm getting myself confused. The sacral chakra is orange.
Yes. So, and again, it kind of, you'll see as we go up, you would think that like it'd start to do like a rainbow Roy G. Biv flow of colors, but it doesn't. They kind of bounce all over the place. But I think that it's significant because the root chakra is red and then your sacral is orange, and how they work so closely together, I think is kind of significant that they're so close in color as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And then we kind of didn't talk about it yet, but all of our chakras have been given a visual description of being a lotus flower. And so I learned this today.
Ooh.
Fun fact for everybody. So the root chakra is a four-leaf lotus. And then as we move up the body, the lotus grows and gets more leaves, up to the point that when you get to the crown chakra on the top of your head, it has 1,000 leaves. And that's literally what the Sanskrit name for crown chakra is. I'm not going to say it because, yeah, I'll just chop it up. But it literally translates into 1,000 leaves.
Oh, interesting.
So, or 1,000 petals or something like that. So, I don't know yet all of how many petals are added at each chakra, but it does accumulate to more.
That's super interesting. I'm really excited to like learn all this stuff with you as you have these sessions with Lori. Like,
Yeah, I'm excited about
yeah,
it.
it's interesting.
So, as something that she told me today was that as we learn these things and become more aware of how they affect our body, it may enable us to help others that we know because we're like, ooh, maybe you're having these problems. Like if you know somebody with lower back pain, can be
Yeah.
associated to chakras. If you notice somebody who's always sick, it could be related to chakras.
Yeah.
So maybe just another avenue that that person could look into to help, because I don't think that it would hurt anything.
No, I just think that the problem with that, not that there's a problem with you ever doing that, because I do it all the time. Like, hey, so maybe you need an alignment, you know? But some people are just not into it at all,
Oh,
and they
sure.
think we're crazy. Like,
Oh, sure.
my mom thinks I'm crazy when I tell her these things. Like, hey, positive minds, and positive affirmations, and all this stuff, and I am positive. Okay.
Super aggressive.
Yeah. Listen. Anyways, so okay, so now are we ready to move on to the solar plexus? You know,
Yes.
every time I hear solar plexus, I think of Miss Congeniality. You know, where she does the solar plexus something, like when she's beating the dude up. Like, I can't remember the rest of it, but I just remember the solar, I think, or no, solar plexus something, and then fucking punches him in the face with the upper. I can't remember it, but anyways.
Well, it's funny because you would knock somebody right into about their diaphragm,
Yeah.
and that is where your solar plexus is located. And the solar plexus is what color, friend?
Yellow.
Yellow.
Yellow. I actually think we do have a Roy G. Biv thing going on.
To a point. I
To a
think
point.
when you get up a little bit more, it gets weird because your heart chakra you would think would be red, but it's not.
But it's green.
And
Because that's what I'm saying is like, so if you go up the chakra and you go Roy G. Biv, red, orange, yellow, blue. Wait, Roy G. Green, sorry. G. Green,
maybe we do.
blue, indigo, violet.
I felt like I got weird somewhere, but that's why we're
Yeah.
newbies on a spiritual journey.
Newbies on a spiritual journey. Anyways, so tell us about the solar plexus.
So, solar plexus is it governs your confidence, self-esteem, control of life, and how we express our true selves. So that's a big one because I think a lot of the time, I know that's something that I struggle because honestly, anymore, I don't think I know who my true self is anymore. I don't think I ever knew. And then I
Yeah.
think having kids really just throws you way off course for finding out who the hell you are because you just kind of become a backseat passenger in your own life. But
Yeah.
working on it.
I was gonna say, like, that's the great thing about this journey is like, we're figuring it out. Like, I still,
Yeah,
after all the work that I've done, like, I still don't know who I am completely. I definitely have a better idea of
for
who I
sure.
am now. But I
Yeah.
mean, 30, about to be 38 years old. So like, it's never too late for anyone out there that says I'm getting old. Like, people I know, I'm getting old. It's too late. No, it's not. It is never too late.
Never too late.
Yeah.
So when it's blocked, we have low self-esteem. What?
What? Mind blown.
Difficulty making decisions. We're easily taken advantage of. Um, and then it also can go back to some of those stomach aches, digestive issues, gas, because it sits kind of in that weird place.
Yeah.
And like what you'll see is that some of the kind of symptoms, physical symptoms, may overlap because of where they're kind of located next to each other. So you
Mhm.
are going to have a little bit of overlap there. So you figure if you're, and usually when your energy is just not flowing well in general, it's going to affect all of your chakras. So
Mhm.
if one is blocked or overactive or underactive or just not functioning right, it's going to affect the rest of it.
Yeah.
So some of those like stomach issues may be because you're causing a blockage in your sacral chakra and they experience there because you're not being true to yourself,
Mhm.
and you're feeling a lack of confidence and a lack of control over your life and things like that. So um, let's see here.
And also, to jump off what you just said, each chakra with the exception of the heart chakra, is actually paired with another. I was gonna save it to the end, but I guess I can quickly go over. So like your crown chakra is actually linked to your root chakra.
Hmm.
Your fucking
Third
third
eye.
eye is linked to your sacral, and then your throat is linked to your solar plexus, and then you have your heart chakra. So like they're all linked, like they kind of
Yeah.
correlate like that also.
Yep. So again, there are. I'm kind of bummed that I didn't really get that written down because it was super interesting. I thought I had it written on here, but in the notes. But some of the poses um, for yoga. So again, if you can't get outside or you can't do the things that you need to do to unblock it, uh, whether it be crystals are a good way. There are different crystals that associate with them, like the one for the root chakra I learned today is the bloodstone. It has an interesting history too. There's essential oils, there's affirmations. And then again, once you identify and become aware of what might be going on, you can make those slight behavioral changes. So basically, you're feeling feelings of not being true to yourself. And so it makes you feel you're fighting against your natural way of being. And so it feels unnatural. And so then your body feels gross about it. And then the longer you continue to be that way, the more it just manifests itself into like dis-ease,
Yeah.
which said quicklier is disease.
Yeah.
And then yoga and any other kind of, they've got like qigong and some other types of
I was gonna say, did we put frequencies on there?
we did not.
That's because that's actually a big one too, is frequencies.
I actually recommended that to my friend because she was having a problem with a cyst on one of her nerves in her spine.
Mm-hmm.
And they were talking surgery, and that surgery wasn't guaranteed. And I was like, you could listen to some frequency music. They have like I know we have a page in that Project 369 book that talks about the frequencies and which frequencies do what. But you could probably Google it as
Yeah,
well.
that's what
I
I need
think
to
it's I think it's 111. That's the
111.
healing one, but I could be mistaken, so don't quote me on that.
Yeah, I'll have to look that up. So when I do have to leave Huron by himself, I'm just gonna play frequencies all day.
100%. Listen, I listen to frequencies every night when I go to bed. One, because it just, I don't know, helps focus my mind and it turns that monkey brain off. And I'm not sitting up wondering why I did what I did in high school or whatever. Um, Crazy thing pops into your brain. Did I close the refrigerator? Did I turn off the oven? Is there bread on the counter? Anyway, but I will say this. So I started a new gym. It's pretty intense. Normally, when I do things and I go from zero to hero, I wake up feeling like I got hit by a Mack truck every day. And I wake up with little to no muscle pain when I wake up. And I really do
Nice.
attribute it to listening to frequencies because it's literally the only thing that I've done different.
Yeah, that's
And
awesome.
it's
That's
great. It's
yeah,
because I do get like a little sore in some
yeah.
places, but it's usually the muscles that uh I don't use on a regular basis, like
Mm-hmm.
stabilizer muscles and like those little ones that you didn't even know existed. You'd be like,
Yeah,
oh, what does that hurt? Or like the
yeah.
other day, I woke up and I was like, why do my neck muscles hurt? What was I doing? Uh
You guys, she's a CrossFit bro now.
Don't
look
judge
at
me.
look at that. Like we couldn't even make it this episode. Like I got a new gym. No, I'm just messing with you.
You're
CrossFit
the worst.
bro. But no, that's
But
a good point. It's and I like it, and I think that's really awesome. Like I didn't even think because I started my my 5x5 workouts because wintertime is like bulking season, and I'm trying to get big and strong again because I've lost so much weight. So I'm like, fuck it, I'm just gonna go and start do my 5x5 workouts. I didn't even think about doing like frequencies to like so I'm not as achy because like I'm
it's the
telling you,
recovery process, yeah.
yeah, I should definitely add that to my things to do for
Because I just feel
recovery.
like there's no way with like I went from sitting on the couch to like doing a pretty intense thing that I wouldn't be more sore. And so I just, because in the past I have been, I wake up and I'm like, I can't gym today. I broke my body. And I'm like, you try to sit down on the toilet and you're like,
Yeah, that's the worst. That's one of the main reasons why I hate legs day, because no matter what I do, because like I take, I take supplements, and like one of the biggest ones I take is glutamine for recovery. And like glutamine has always worked really well. Like I'll be like a little sore, even after like working out. I only got to work out Monday cuz obviously fucking this week was a disaster. But, working chest, I was like like my arms are shaky, like I'm reaching for water and I'm like sitting here shaking whatever. But I take protein with the glutamine and all that stuff, and I take the recovery stuff, and I took a nice hot bath, but like I was just a little sore. But legs, I can go through the same exact thing. And like the next day, I'll be like a little achy, and it's always day number two. Always day number
yep.
two. Like I can't walk up the stairs. Like I have to pee really bad, but I can't sit down on the toilet.
Somebody just dragged me to my grave.
Yeah, like I don't understand legs. Why legs is always so bad. But maybe, maybe the frequencies will help legs not be so bad. So have you
Yeah.
done legs? Obviously, you've been at the gym for a couple. That's all CrossFit is fucking legs, right? Yeah.
Facts.
So.
Fucking facts.
Oh well, then hell yeah,
Yeah.
frequencies.
Yeah, I'm telling you. I think they really do.
Send me your playlist, your frequencies playlist. You do Spotify,
I
right?
don't, yeah, I don't have a playlist. I
Oh.
listen to I think it's actually either a meditation or a manifestation channel, but I can
Mhm.
send you
Yeah.
the thing. Actually, I could look it up to share with everyone if you'd like.
Yeah.
Won't take me that long.
We got
It's
so
called
off
the Mindset Meditation Podcast
mindset meditation pod.
with a the, if
Oh,
it
the.
matters. Yeah, the Mindset Meditation. Because every time I like search on there, it always takes me back there anyway.
Set med.
So they have a bunch of different stuff on there.
All right, cool. I'm
So
adding it
back
to my favorites.
to chakras.
Yeah, I was gonna say we kind of got
I mean,
off
again,
on a fucking
we
tangent.
did, but it applies because it is a way to help you. There are specific frequencies that do help with balance. There's actually one labeled in there that talks about you get all 9 solfeggio frequencies to balance your chakras. Or they have specific ones in there for chakra balancing, or for a specific one so you can work solely on the root chakra or the crown or the throat or the third eye. So they have some like individualized ones in there as well. So
Nice.
it correlates.
Yeah. I mean, hey, it's fine. We're fine. So that was solar plexus, right? So next is the heart chakra.
The heart chakra.
The heart chakra, which is represented by green. Does it look green?
It looks yellow.
It kind of looks yellow.
But it is green.
Fucking cameras. But yes, it is actually green. It actually kind of it almost looks like the earth if the water was green. Just because it has like these little white
land
splotches.
masses.
Yeah, like land masses.
So it influences the ability to give and receive love from ourselves and others. So love, joy, inner peace. And that is actually where, so I was going to get into this a little bit later, but it's kind of perfect. So the lower chakras, so the root, the sacral, and the solar plexus, as we kind of discussed, are primarily related to the physical aspects of our lives. So that's why there's a lot of correlation with organs and different things like that. So the heart actually is like the buffer between the lower chakras, which are our more physical oriented ones, and then our upper chakras that are more of our spiritual ones. So the last one that kind of, and I know we're kind of skipping ahead, that deals with more like physical stuff is the throat chakra. So the heart kind of bridges that a little bit. So it connects the upper and lower chakras. So that's where like all the ollies meet, right? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually.
Yeah.
I
actually didn't know that, because I thought the other ones also had things that manifest in the physical world if you have blockages.
Well, they do. Again, it's going to correlate with wherever they are physically located in the body. So anything heart blockages, again, heart disease, things around the lungs, blood flow, oxygenation, like all of those things. So yeah, they all do. It's just the lower ones don't have as much of a spiritual connection as as they do a
Yeah.
physical one.
That makes sense. Okay, I see what you're saying now. I was
Yeah.
just confusing myself.
No, you're fine. It was a good point of clarification.
Yeah. Look, my
So I'm
brain,
not saying that they're not spiritually connected, because like I said, when I
yeah.
was going through my kind of aha moment or whatever, I felt a lot of it in my sacral, in my gut area.
Mhm.
And so I did have some physical, how do you want to say that? Not symptoms. That's not the word I'm looking for. But whatever.
Indicators?
Yeah, no, but it'll come to me. But I had physical changes due to a spiritual thing.
Mhm.
So, and it was just, I think, like I said, that cog wheel kind of getting dusted off and
Yeah.
getting into that spinning motion. So, oh, we kind of forgot to mention that, but I'll get to that later. So yeah, so when it's blocked, we experience fear, jealousy, anger, fear of betrayal, hatred towards ourselves and others. So basically, you're just the Grinch, right? When you
Yeah.
have like a blocked heart chakra, you're
And
just
you're also blocking your intuition, because that's like a lot of where your intuition comes from. Like, I know people are always like, because we said it earlier, your gut feeling, but like that's just a figure of speech. Like, your intuition actually comes from your heart chakra.
so. I think for me, the way that I kind of think about it is your intuition does come from like your more of your gut region. However, it's blocked because we how do I want to say this, attune or get in tune, right,
Mhm.
with our inner selves by love. We put love out into the universe, we put
Yeah.
gratitude out into the universe. And so it's kind of the gateway to your
Right. And
intuition.
I think that's kind of why like the heart chakra stands alone, when I said the other ones like correlate with one another, the heart chakra kind of stands alone because it literally helps with all of it.
Yeah.
And it's like you said, it's the gateway.
Well, because if it's blocked, it literally closes a door and like
Yeah.
doesn't let anything in or out.
Hmm.
And so then it starts to negatively affect the balance of everything else, for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Makes sense.
Yeah. So we talked about the color. We talked about, again, this is going to be the same. There are, I think for this one, if I remember correctly, because as yoga ties in a lot with, balancing the chakras, right? Because it's getting in tune with the breath, it's getting in tune with the body. And so for the heart chakra, you're going to do a lot of poses that do a lot of chest opening, right? So I think it's called camel pose, where you like literally come back and you put your hands on your heels as you're
Hmm.
in a kneeling position. Look it up.
I was gonna say, I don't know. I don't
Look it
know.
up. But I'm
I
pretty sure
don't
it's camel
know.
pose. But anything, there's a couple of them. Anything that deals with just opening the chest and really
Hmm.
exposing and creating space there uh, helps balance
Yeah.
the heart chakra and just kind of get you more in tune with that.
And other things that you can do to like connect more with like your heart chakra, like when you're doing like your meditating or your affirmations, if you're trying to focus on, put your hand on your heart.
Mhm.
Feel your heartbeat and just get in tune with it. That's a real
So a
big
lot
one.
of the
That
times too, when you actually one of the yoga sessions that we did this week, that's how we ended it, with your hand on your heart and your hand over more of like the sacral chakra, and
hmm
really just kind of laid there and focused your intentions there. And again, it just goes to kind of opening that door so you can connect to your intuition. And uh, not that they're directly correlated, but
hmm yeah.
I do think it definitely affects it. So rose quartz is a good one. I have one of those. I keep in my pocket every day. Um, it is like a self love, but it's just kind of like a love gem, if
That's
you will.
funny because like I have one also that I keep in my uniform. It's in the shape of a little heart. I bought it from Lori. Like I was like, oh,
Aw,
I want this one. Like, wait, is it a rose quartz? Because I have two. No, you said rose quartz.
yeah.
No, I think my rose quartz is here. What's the one that I have in my pocket?
I thought it was the heart.
Yeah, I have a heart. I got it confused. There's my rose quartz.
Ah,
Yeah, it's
so what's in your pocket?
I don't keep that in my pocket. It's I don't know. It's a heart. It's a heart rock, but I can't
I
remember
know, but
what.
I think it is like a cleaned up version of rose
Maybe
quartz,
yeah, maybe that's what it is.
because I have like some rough ones, but then I keep my little polished one in my pocket.
Yeah, I keep my little polished one in my pocket too, close to my heart.
Yeah, yeah. It's just a reminder, again, like in episodes we've talked about before about, when we get into those negative mindsets, you just kind of, it's like the rubber band on the wrist or whatever you need to do, but just having it on you and or around you or available when you need it can help you if you feel like you're struggling there.
Yeah. Um,
Oh, and we talked about the fact that it's located like where your heart is.
yeah. I mean, it's kind of, but like in correlation with your spine. So like just keep that in mind when you guys think about the chakras. Like everything is in alignment with your spine. So it's going to be like a straight line, but then it kind of like branches out, I guess, like
Yeah.
radiates out, because obviously we have apparently 88 million other chakras. So I'm sure like, you got your heart chakra that's here, and then you probably have like 50 million that's like around it or some bullshit. I don't know.
Absolutely.
That's craziness. 88
These are
million.
just the major centers of
Yes.
energy in
Yeah.
your
So
body. Yeah.
as it is in alignment with your spine. All right, so next
So
we
then that
have
moves us up to the throat chakra.
the throat chakra, which is represented by, I guess that's indigo or blue? Blue. It's blue. That's definitely blue. The throat chakra.
Aquamarine or
Aquamarine.
satellite. Yeah.
Yeah. Um Communication. That's like the big one that I know with the
Yep.
throat chakra, because I did a lot of work with that too. The throat chakra.
Yeah. So, but most importantly, communication of your personal power.
Mm-hmm.
And so Loria and I had actually talked about that a little bit today about someone who has an underactive throat chakra, maybe soft spoken, doesn't really speak up a lot, even when they feel that they should probably say something, they don't say something, and see how that kind of correlates with self esteem. See how they kind of just
Yeah.
work off each other.
Yeah.
But so self expression and truth. So people who have blocked throat chakras will experience persistent sore throats, neck pain, shoulder pain, um, just anything kind of in that region there. So you'll start to build tension in that area. I think it even talks about, tension headaches, thyroid imbalances. All of those things are correlated to issues, blockages, or under overactive throat chakras. Why are you laughing?
Because like I might need to do some work on my throat chakra, but I mean I've been under a lot of stress, so I'm like maybe that's because like the neck pain and I get headaches and neck pain a lot, but I've also been like there's a lot going on with me this week, so like maybe that's I need
But
to
think
call.
about all the conversations that we've had where you've been biting your tongue and not really speaking out because you feel like it's going to cause an issue. So, what is that? It's a conflict with expressing yourself,
Yeah.
your true self, the truth.
So maybe I
Not
should have
just
just let them fucking
saying.
have it on on yesterday.
I
Maybe I
mean,
should.
you'd feel better. I mean, for at
Yeah.
least getting it out of your body.
Yeah.
But, so think about how many times that we choke things down, right?
I'm getting a download right now.
Oh,
It's still going. That's crazy.
I love it.
Yeah. Apparently I
That's
need it.
somebody telling you that you
Yeah.
need to work on your throat chakra.
Yeah. Got it. Thank you.
So when it's blocked, it's hard to pay attention or stay focused. We fear judgment from others. Oh, and then we talked about some of those like physical side effects, the sore throat, the stiffness in the neck, tension headaches, things like that. So, uh, like kind of are just trying to bring to light that we have to be more aware of what we're feeling and how and then look and kind of self reflect on what's going on in our lives at that point that may be causing that and address that. So
Mhm.
again, there's a lot of you can definitely reach out to a Reiki master. Super helpful. I love mine,
Yeah.
but also, there's there's self-help things that you can do as well. So um I'm sure like just getting it out, you have to just let it out. You have to just say what you need to say, and you'll feel a whole lot better
Yeah.
everywhere. And then you'll
Maybe.
start to see how that aligns with your true self and starts making all these other things go away. Because again, what did you said the throat was the solar plexus
Yes.
or the sacral?
Wait, which one's first? I always get them
The
mixed up.
sacral. The
Sacral. Yeah.
sacral. Yeah.
No, it's a solar plexus because you got the crown with the root, the third eye with the
Sacral.
sacral, and then
Mhm.
solar plexus. Okay, never mind.
So it is solar plexus.
Got
But
myself
again,
confused.
right? So when we're soft spoken because we have an underactive, right? We talked about that just a minute ago, how that goes with self-esteem. And guess what governs self-esteem? The solar
Solar plexus.
plexus. Confidence, control of life. So when we don't speak up or say the things that we feel need to be said because they don't align with one of our core values or whatever the issue is, if you feel the need to say something, say something. Oh, look.
I actually think that's probably what's going on with me. Because there are things that I want to say, but I'm choosing not to because of other things. We're gonna
And
talk. Yeah, we'll talk
you're
more
in
about.
contrast with
I am
your true self.
because I really want to, but like I just feel like it's gonna make things worse. But we'll talk more about. Not that I'm trying to keep secrets from our viewers, but we'll talk more.
It's a whole
about
thing. It's like a whole episode. It's a
yeah,
whole
like
podcast.
it's a whole
itself.
podcast in itself. Like, but yeah, we'll talk more about that like off this.
So then that brings us into the third eye.
The third
which
eye.
is
Indigo.
located, also one of my favorites.
I was gonna say, is one of my favorites too.
So it's located a little above the eyebrow, right at the eyebrow, kind of in between the eyes. If any of you saw, oh crap, it was one of the last Marvel movies that had Doctor Strange in it. At the very end, he's like,
yeah,
and his freaking third eye opens.
Yeah,
I was like, wouldn't that be so creepy if that actually happened to you?
Oh my god, I would never want to open up my third eye. I'd be like, nope, I will just stay unawake for the rest of my life because that is creepy.
Like, wearing a band-aid over your forehead and be like, what's going on?
A pirate patch. Put a pirate patch over your like, don't mind me. My third eye is just open, and it's weirding people out.
It's fine.
Oh
so it enables us to see the big picture, connect with intuition. It's the eye of the soul. It's something else. It's also the chakra that deals with more, I hate to call them supernatural, but visions, intuitive hits. It can also, any of your like clairvoyance. Yeah, but there's more than clairvoyance, but like those. Yeah, it's a whole nother episode.
Like
but
your whole
sixth
sense,
gifts.
all your six senses, like your magical powers.
Yeah,
the same magical powers. Who
come
cares?
from the third eye.
Yeah.
And go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say, well, I mean, I think I'm jumping ahead, but like ways to unblock it. But the only thing that I've really been doing is the Shilajit, because I know I've mentioned this before, that your third eye is actually like in line with your pituitary gland, and with all of the crap, and I'm just as guilty. Like I still.
Oh, weird. You mean it works the part of your body?
Yeah, isn't it so weird? But with all the stuff that they put into our foods, like I said, I'm just as guilty. I just fucking had McDonald's for dinner today because like I just really wanted a cheeseburger and fries. But anyways, the stuff that they put into our foods and our drinks and all that, it calcifies our pituitary gland. So if you find, don't be very mindful of where you buy your Shilajit from, because there are obviously like scammers out there. But that's what I do, is I have like, it's like black tarry stuff, and I stir it into my coffee. It is really gross. I have taken it raw a few times. Just because it's like
put off the spoon once. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it's like, but I mean, it helps decalcify your pituitary gland, so that will help open up your third eye. So that is one thing that you can do.
Yes. But also there are, just like everything else, there's yoga poses, breath work. There are crystals and gems, all sorts of, it all applies the same. You just have to find the ones that work. Yeah. But the third eye, I think mostly is balance through meditation, because it's about putting you in a different state of consciousness. And just like everything in our body, most everything is like a muscle or works like a muscle. So when we don't use it, we lose it and it atrophies. And I think, so then you throw that on top of what you mentioned with like dietary concerns. It just kind of gets real gunked up. And so probably I would say one of the harder ones to unblock, but it's also because it's on a more spiritual level.
Yeah.
So now you're connecting to yourself in a way that's not as physical. It's not as easy to eat a different diet or get some exercise or take a walk outside or, wear a certain color or whatever it is to connect with that chakra specifically. So you are in a different plane, I guess, if you will, as far as how to really tackle it or kind of connect to it.
Yeah.
Just my opinion.
No, it's summed up
So
perfectly.
when it is blocked, you'll have trouble accessing your intuition, trusting yourself, recalling important facts. Weird, because you just said it had to do with your brain
Yeah, so weird.
and learning new things. So that could definitely be correlated with the gunk in
Mm-hmm.
there. So clean out your pineal gland and your pituitary gland.
Pituitary gland. Yeah. Clean it up. Just clean up your
But there
brain.
is a frequency for that, for the pineal gland, which is supposedly in and around
Was I
that
saying
area.
it wrong?
Nope.
Pineal.
You said pituitary. I'm sure it probably has something to do with your pituitary gland because I'm
I
not an
think I'm.
expert on the
I
brain.
think no. I think I meant pineal gland. I really do think I meant pineal gland, and now I feel like I misled everybody. Pituitary gland, pineal gland. Well, shit. No, it is pituitary gland. Your pituitary is the one that gets calcified. Pineal gland. I gotta Google it because this is gonna drive me nuts.
Do it.
Mm-mm. Two.
The long, awkward pause.
Yeah, long awkward. It is. It's Pituitary gland is what gets calcified.
Okay.
So okay.
But look
So
at the pineal gland now.
okay, pineal gland.
It's like Pineal. We like to check our facts. We don't want to mislead.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely don't ever want to mislead. I mean, they're all like so the pineal and the pituitary gland are very close together to one another. So as you're like looking at the brain from the side view, so say this is like the front and you got your spinal cord that goes into your brain stem or whatever. Your pituitary gland is right here, and then your pineal gland is on the other side of that. So they are very close together. But yeah, and
So it's worth a Google. But there are frequencies on there that talk about on the channel that I mentioned before, the mindset meditation channel on
yeah. I when I
Spotify.
pulled that up, I had actually listened to them before, like with the one that clears up all your chakras or helps
Yeah,
to yeah. So I've
they come
listened.
up a lot, and when you do a search there for any
Yeah,
type of frequency music, it's a pretty good channel. So
yeah.
since it does always takes me back there, I just listen to that one.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, so those are some things there. And then that brings us to the tippy top,
The
the
crown
crown
chakra.
chakra.
I don't want to keep showing my bracelet, but I started it, so now I feel like I have to, like every time. Like as I got to like the second one, I was like, why am I doing this? This is so stupid. But because I did it for all of them, I just have to keep doing it now. So yes, the very tippy top is the crown chakra, which is violet or can also be white.
Yes. And so clear quartz, which would be white, amethyst, and moonstone.
Amethyst is a very powerful crystal, you guys. Is one of the more powerful ones from what I've learned.
So it is directly correlated with your connection to the divine, universe, source power, God, whatever you want to call it, and higher consciousness. So yeah, it's basically like your antenna.
Yeah.
So when it's not working, like kind of the rest of it's out of whack as well.
Yeah.
If depending on what you're trying to do, and again, I think that's why it's so key to work from the bottom, because you have to get all the rest of these like working in an order and balanced, and for you to be able to, I think, even comprehend what the crown chakra can do for you. But downloads are a good indication that it's at least working.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I know, like, I read somewhere that depending on what year, it means something different. I just can't remember. Like, that might be something for like another episode of is to
Yeah,
talk about downloads because some people might not even understand what we're talking about when we say downloads.
I like it.
People call it tinnitus. It's not. It's a download. So the ringing in your ears. If you're not if you weren't hit in the head and you just suddenly get ringing in your ears, that's a download. And so that's when you got to pay attention to what's going on around you and figure out what the universe is trying to tell you. But yeah, that's
Oh,
definitely something for another
I got a
episode.
story for you.
Oh,
But we'll get through this first. So, when it's blocked, we can feel apathetic, listless, energetically numb, disconnected, lack of purpose. Um, and a lot of that just, I mean, disconnected is the best word. You've basically severed your umbilical cord to the universe and you're asleep, I feel like.
that was a very funny image that popped in my head as you said, sever the umbilical cord to the universe. Because now I'm just imagining all of us with like this invisible umbilical cord just walking around, and then those of us that aren't connected, they're just laying on the ground like with their shit snipped and just like, help me. That
I
was
mean,
the
that's basically the words that
yeah.
like describe that. Um, so yeah, you can feel something they called soul loss. And that's kind of where some of that lack of purpose, lack of uh just lack of everything comes
Yeah.
from. Um, so which we hope that you're not feeling.
Yeah. And I think
I was
it's
looking for.
safe to
Oh, but we
say.
didn't talk about. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Oh,
Safe to
I was
say
gonna
what?
say I think it's safe to say that like not one chakra is more important than the other. Like
No.
I know it kind of seems that way because like I know that like the focus that I've done has been focused on like one chakra or another, but like they all are very important, and if one is lacking, then it's going to affect another one.
It's like a waterfall. And when you block the waterfall, the water goes somewhere else. And so, or like a water wheel, like when the paddle thing that like makes water power,
Yeah.
hydropower. Um, but like it's like
Yeah.
a whole bunch of them working together to make that hydropower. And when one of them isn't working, then the water doesn't flow to the next one, so it's not working, and so on and so forth.
I
It
like that
is
analogy.
located at the top of the head, crown of your head. So I'm sure that I don't have anything here, and I haven't really found anything in my learnings about physical. It's going to
I
come to me, the
I
word that I'm looking for, but physical attributes or, symptoms
correlations.
that we talked about before, as far as like, I haven't read or listen to anything that says anything about like if your crown chakra is blocked, you're getting a brain tumor or like your.
No, I mean I think it does still correlate with the brain, because it is up there. So I'm sure
Well, it does talk about
like
lack of
headaches.
being able to learn things new or recall information, so
Hmm.
memory and things like that. But I
Which
just mean it.
that would be to me that's a physical correlation because like memorying I like it. Memorying things is
I think
like,
maybe your
that's
crown chakra is underactivated right now.
it might be. It really might be. It's been a lot this week, but I do think that, that can be considered, if you can't
Yeah,
remember things and if you can't
it's a
intake
big
new
one.
information, I think that would correlate.
So you talking about this being a rough week for you kind of brings me to my next point. So we're talking about what happens when they're blocked, but we haven't talked about why they get blocked.
Oh, yes, that is a good one. Stress is definitely a big one for me.
Huge,
The huge
huge,
one. It
literally on the top of the list of my
Yeah,
notes.
like when I saw it, I'm just like that sums it up. Like I am very stressed out with a lot of things, and typically when I get blockages, it's because I'm stressed out for one reason or another.
Because you what?
I
You
I
disconnected.
yeah, I'm
You
just
cut your umbilical
I
cord.
cut my umbilical cord and I'm just laying there. Help me, universe, reconnect me to the umbilical cord.
But maybe not necessarily through the crown chakra, but you may have lost your root chakra. You may
Mm-hmm.
have lost an imbalance somewhere in the middle. And again, like we talked about, when one goes, some of them are kind of directly connected to each other. And
Yeah.
so, it's a whole thing. And so, uh, poor diet, um,
Guilty.
suppressed anger,
Guilty.
grief, heartbreak, rejection, resentment. But like again, you're listening to this list of words: anxiety, fear, stubbornness, tunnel vision. Uh, they all talk about what negative connotations,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or have a negative connotation about them. So It's about reframing. It's about finding that self love, that ability. So, all those little things that we do that are like behavioral changes are really just us becoming aware of where we're deficient and then doing the exercises or the work or whatever you want to call it to rebalance that area.
Yeah.
So, whenever difficult things present themselves in our lives, if we choose to see them as only from a negative, why is this happening to me? My life is an uphill battle. Fuck my life. My life sucks. Whatever you want to say. If you
Hmm.
just stay, and it's okay to have a moment of like, fuck my life. And
Yeah.
then be like, all right, I didn't mean that. Stop. All right. I'm grateful for this. I'm grateful for that. This is an opportunity. It's a lesson to learn something. And when I get on the other side of this, I'm going to be a better, stronger person for it
Hmm.
because I went through it and I experienced it in a way that I was able to find the lesson in it and learn from it and move past it and use it as a stepping stone to get to the next place, right? The other side, your higher self, your best self, whatever your goal or vision of that is. Um, but when we stew in that dark place, uh, that everything just kind of falls apart.
Yeah.
So it seems pretty simple, but it's easier said than done for sure.
Definitely. Like
Yeah.
it's not, and like nothing, like every tip and trick, I guess, tip and trick, that we give you guys for these different, whatever topic we're talking about, it sounds so easy, but I'm telling you, like, it takes work. Like, you
And
can't,
intention.
yeah, it takes work and attention. Like, you can't say, like, oh, well, Jen said if I put a rubber band on my wrist, this will help with,
I'll stop being mean to myself.
yeah, I'll stop being mean to myself. And you snap it one time, and then the next day you're mean to yourself again. Like, it didn't work. Like, no, it literally takes work. Like, I cannot tell you how many rubber bands I broke on my wrist. Like, I broke a lot of rubber bands going through all of this. So it's none of these are easy fixes, and you have to be dedicated to, you know,
Sticking with it.
yeah, sticking with it and actually doing the work. Like, that's, and I think that's one reason. And I think I'm going on a different tangent, but I think that's one reason why a lot of people are so, and I don't mean this in, like, I'm not trying to be negative, but like I think that's why there are so many people that are broken and just compartmentalize and not worry about the shit that they're going through because they don't want to put in the work, because now, just the way our society is, like, we want everything right now, now,
Or they're
and they
skeptical.
mm,
So, like today, I was like, ooh, this would be because we were working on root chakra. I was like, I should sit outside. And I was like, no, I'm not doing that. People are going to think I'm crazy. But, like, right. So, because someone else is skeptical, we
yeah,
say things like someone in the office today mentioned to me about how they get like anxiety about thinking about it, right? Thinking about things. And he was talking to me about like my situation. He's like, oh, well, there's like all these other units. He's like, I'm curious to see what's going to happen with your position and this and that. And I was like, I'm really not worried about it. I don't know why, but I'm not. So I'm just living every day in the moment and just enjoying it.
you should have told him, don't speak stuff like that out in the universe about you. Like, why, like, don't put that on me. Like, you worry about
So
yourself,
he started
buddy.
going on. He went down this like whole rabbit hole about how like, oh, well, there's a unit here and there's a unit there and there's a unit here and there's a unit there. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you for the information, but I don't feel like I'm going to need it.
Yeah.
I'm good. And he's like, well, that's good for you. He's like, because I would have been worrying about it for the next year. And I was like, but to what avail? There's nothing I can do about whatever's coming my way. The
Yeah.
only thing I can control is how I deal with it. And I mean, yes, we have some control, right? Because we talked about manifesting and achieving goals and things like that. But as far as like the kind of unforeseen things or the hurdles or hiccups or whatever you want to call them that get thrown at us in life, our lessons, um, I don't know what they are. Okay, so I was like, that's my new saying. I'll build that bridge when I get to that river,
Yeah.
right?
I love
I'm not going
that.
to spend my time building bridges for freaking water I may never cross.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the best way to rid yourself of anxiety,
To not worry about things in the future.
you live in the moment.
Yeah.
I said, what's going on in your life right now? You have a great job. You get ready to have a baby. Like your wife's business is doing fucking great. Like just enjoy it. Just enjoy it. Life is good. Life is good now. And now is all that matters. Right. So
Yeah.
like they say the past is the past and the future hasn't happened, right? So we can't really affect those. The way that we affect the future is what we do now,
Mhm.
and that's all we can do. So um I was like, just let it go. It's really not that big of a deal.
I know.
Whatever happens will happen, and I'll deal with it when it happens, and I'm
Yeah.
sure it will work out in the best way possible.
Yeah. I mean, the universe has a plan.
But people have a hard time grasping that concept,
Mhm.
and they're like, okay, yeah, all right, hippy dippy mumbo jumbo
Yeah.
space shit. You like, enough. That's not real.
Mhm. It's and
What
that's
even is real?
That's because that is their that I mean that's their 3D, and that's
Hmm.
just showing that they're not in alignment with their chakras, because skepticism,
Hmm.
am I saying that right? I
Hmm.
think that is actually in correlation with your fucking your crown chakra is skepticism. So like you're clogged up, and I it doesn't hurt to try the things. Like I was very skeptical when I first started this journey, because I'm like, I don't know about any of this. But then like as you start going through it and you start seeing the changes, and you're just like this is real. And like I think we said this in episode 1 or 2, where it's like we didn't just make this up. Like this isn't something that happened in our lifetime. Like this is something that has been going on for centuries. So like our ancestors had it right. Just somewhere we lost our way, and now we have everyone that's like so skeptical, and like I said, they want results now. Like they want to be fixed right now, and if they can't be fixed right now, it doesn't work. And it's like you have to get out of that mindset. You have to put in the work, or else you're just going to stay broken.
Well, I hate to use the word broken, right?
I
Because
don't know what other word to use.
there's nothing wrong with anybody, right?
I
Uh
wouldn't go that far, but
it's just
unhealed.
we get stuck, unhealed.
Yeah, that's
Unhealed. I
probably a
like
better
that.
word.
Yeah. But that, because to say someone is broken is to say that there's a lack somewhere, and no one is lacking anything. You have everything that you need. You just have to become aware of it.
Yeah,
So you're unaware. You're asleep.
unaware, unhealed, unaware. I think that's better than saying broken. I'm sorry if I offended anybody out there. I don't know. I used broken because
Well,
I
I
was
just don't
broken.
want people to think that, like, you know, we're newbies. We're not experts. We're
Yeah,
not, you know, they say that the crown chakra is the hardest one to really open, and uh to reach that level of consciousness, right, is like not even gurus who have been doing this for years reach that kind of level,
hmm,
right? So who are we to say that you're broken?
yeah, that's true.
But we all have shit that happens to us. We all have traumas. We all have life, right? And it's just in how you choose to view it, process it, deal with it, and move on.
Yeah,
And I think it's when you become more aware, like we keep saying, of the inner workings of yourself that affect the way that we do those things, then we can make different choices, right? That just help us feel better, right?
yeah. I'm not. I'm sorry. I'm not being rude, you guys. Like I know you guys probably see me keep looking around, but one, like I keep checking my internet, and I have Huron here. And for those that like that's following me on Instagram, like you guys know that like Huron just had surgery, so like I keep checking him, and then I just let Sheldon in, so like I don't want Sheldon fucking with Huron. So like I'm not being rude. I'm still listening, just making sure my doggy's okay.
Because what did our card say? Puppies make you feel like a parent.
Yeah, straight up. These are my kids. I got a
But
toddler and an
anyway, but
elder. Yeah.
it's just about whatever you need to do to get the most out of life.
Yeah.
I think it's really the ultimate goal. And it's so easy. There are so many things that we say to ourselves, that we experience in life, that we go through, right? That we can really get stuck on. We really can, because sometimes it's hard to see that bigger picture, or it's hard to accept it, or however, depending on what it is. And so reminding ourselves that we're not being punished, right? Things happen, and they happen for reasons
Hmm.
that we may not ever find out why, or we find out way later down the road. And I wonder sometimes it's because I wound up coming back to the beginning, it feels like moving back to my place of birth origin. Well, why did I ever leave? What could I have done if I just stayed here? If I was just going to wind up coming back here anyway? But then I wouldn't have met all of the incredible people that I've met in my life. I wouldn't have experienced the things that I've experienced, good, bad, and indifferent,
Hmm.
that have shaped my values and created me or carved me out
Yeah.
into this world, and will continue to experience them until we don't.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that's like perfectly summed up because there's a lot of times that, especially being active duty for 20 years and moving around, like there's definitely times where I'm like, where would I be if I would have just stayed home and just like went to college and stayed in Ohio, or what if I would have chosen, prime example, this last move that I made, I had three options. What would have happened if I would have chose Germany instead of New York? I would have never met you. I would have never, even though there was like, some drama with the people that I did meet, but like I would have never met Chelsea. Like, all these things came like lined up the way it was supposed to. So that way it pushed me to be on this healing journey that I'm on now. And like we wouldn't be here blessing you guys with the knowledge that we're learning, like this would have never been a thing had I made a different choice. Like it's just so crazy, thinking about those things like, man, where would I be? I'd be probably a fucking alcoholic, to be honest, because like if I would have went back to Germany, straight up German beer, hell yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, and again, and it happened in a way that's you know working out super great.
Yeah, 100.
And I feel bad. I see, this is why I get like the ADD brain, and I just interject because I told you I had a story,
Oh no, and you forgot.
and I have no idea what it was about. It was something that happened to me today, and save it for another time.
Yeah, or it'll hit you like as we get ready to leave, like, oh yeah, I remember.
Doesn't
Uh,
matter. It
well,
was a good
just
one too, though.
yeah, well, just remember, you guys, that all your chakras are important. If you want to learn about the other 88 million, we it was what Chakras 101, I think was the book.
Chakras
Um,
for beginners.
or something like that. You can find it on Amazon. It's a really it's not a thick book at all. I'm a terrible reader. Like so
Super
that's
easy read.
yeah. What was that on your end or was that here?
It might have been.
Oh, anyways, I highly recommend that book, even though, like I said, even though I haven't finished it, it's a good read, from what I read so far. And then, there's definitely a lot of, I think we gave you a lot of tools to help, put those things back into alignment, healing your chakras. Reiki, I 100% recommend. Like, I really need to, I'm trying to schedule an in-person appointment with Lori. I just got to figure out when I can make that trip to Connecticut, because like it's just literally across the river, to go see her. It's just, with all the stuff with Huron, I don't know.
Is that a river? I'm fairly
Is
certain
it a
that's a
river?
sound.
What?
The
That's
sound.
what?
The Long Island Sound. You have to cross the Long Island Sound. It's part of the ocean.
Is that not I've never heard it called a sound before. A sound is something you hear.
It's not. It's a water formation, like an inlet from
anyways
the ocean.
anyways, I gotta hop on the ferry to cross the water. Whatever type of water it is. I mean, I know it is part of the ocean, but it's not the ocean. Like, maybe it is part of the Atlantic.
It is part of the Atlantic.
Yeah.
A
Anyway.
sound is like a bay, but bigger.
Hmm. I'm learning so many new things today. So apparently, like I have to cross the sound. I just got to figure out when a good time is to travel with. Obviously I'm going to keep here on here, but like just figure out a good time I feel comfortable to. I don't know if I'm going to. Like I
It's
want
only a
to.
couple hours.
I know, but like I'm at a spot right now that like maybe towards the end of my leave I'll make a trip over there and be like, hey, so I'm still on leave, like let me do this before I go back to work, get myself in alignment and see her in person. I might be a little bit more comfortable because by then it would be a few weeks, and he'll have his staples removed by then, so maybe I don't know. We'll see. Cross the
Well, just
sound.
know that you should take the sound advice that we gave today and put it into action,
Yeah.
and just let go of that fear,
Mm-hmm.
and we saw that stress.
Yeah.
It's going to be super good.
I'm definitely working on. I've been sleeping a lot, like because I lost a lot of sleep. You know, Monday night, Tuesday night, and last night. So I slept. I took a nice nap today before I came up here.
Good. That's good. Self-care.
Yeah, self care. But yeah, I think, is there anything else that?
I think we've covered basically the basics and, at least pushed you, gave you that nudge down that path. And, you can reach out and uh, ask us any questions, follow-on questions that you feel like you need points of clarity or interested in through the things, the social medias, the
Yeah,
TikTokies, the Instagrams, the email,
yeah.
the Cosmic Compass podcast
I'm gonna
at
figure out
gmail.com.
how to get our link tree in the TikTok, because like that for some reason I cannot put a link there, but we do have a link tree that has a link to all of our stuff: Spotify, YouTube, uh, the Cosmic Compass Podcast at gmail.com. So our email. If not, head over to Instagram, the Cosmic Compass, and the link tree is there. So if you can't remember the things that we say, or just rewind and listen to it again as we plug our stuff.
Yeah. So, yeah, other than that, we will, I guess, see you guys next time.
Yeah, bye, buddies.
Bye, friends.